Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY post-game show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, and it was not an ordinary performance for the Eagles in this game. A 34-6 dismantling of the Dallas Cowboys in Arlington. Jalen Hurts gets his first victory on the road against the Cowboys. We've got a lot to talk about with Fran, Duffy, Jamie Lynch, but I will start with the Super Bowl champion, Vinny Curry, because, Vinny, this was a game for the defense. 6 points allowed. The first 12 drives of this game for the Cowboys on offense, 11 of them a 3-and-out or a turnover. Absolute domination from Vic Fangio's unit.
Listen, it's like we talked about in the beginning a couple weeks ago. It's like Novocaine, baby. Give it some time. Give it some time. This thing, they're on ball and they're playing lights out, playing with passion, energy, and you got to admit, I mean, the changes they made coming from the bye week to now, is, oh my God, like, it's amazing. What a time to be an Eagle fan.
The Eagles are 7-2, now alone atop the NFC East. And while we will talk about the short turnaround before the Thursday night matchup with the Washington Commanders, Jamie, I think you got to savor just a molly-womping of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
just a donkey-womping.
A victory Miller Lite here, because that was awesome. You know, like, as boring as that was in the second half, it's good to be bored every once in a while in the NFL. You know, feet up, just sit back, relax. Comically bad by the Dallas Cowboys. Like, they are just, what a terrible organization, a terrible stadium. I'm sure we can share the sun pictures later. Like, everything about that place, it's awful. And you just went down there and embarrassed them. And one of my favorite things is sad Cowboy fan memes. Like, I live for it. And there were so many good, sad Cowboys fans today. It was glorious.
Cooper Rush, pretty terrible.
Garbanzo
being every way in this game, by the numbers, a net
and
yards.
Trey Lance might be worse.
It might be worse. At least he's worse
There's
in an
upside
interesting way.
Yes, yeah.
Like, at least he can run around. By the numbers, net yards per pass attempt, Cooper Rush, the worst performance of any quarterback in a game this season. Fran, I want to know, from this defense, we saw signs, they have been playing very well. This is like number 10 defense in DVOA coming into this game. What is the most encouraging part of this performance in particular to you?
I mean, I think the big thing is just there's no air in the secondary. There's no space for these guys to get wide open receptions. It's very rare that you see a guy with a lot of room to be able to run. The tackling has been so much better over the last month and change. I think that's one of the big differences I think we've seen in the last few weeks. How many times have we seen Cooper DeJean or Zack Baun or Nakobe Dean in the flat, one-on-one, having to make a stop for 2 yards, and they make the stop at 2 yards, and it's not a 6 or an 8 or a 10 or a 12-yard gain. I think that's been one of the biggest things we've seen from this defense. The tackling has really turned around, but to me, it's the coverage on the back end has been so tight. You're really making them earn every yard that they get in the pass game.
Are you guys worried that Fran wasted the tie on such a lopsided matchup?
It's like in Big Daddy, we wasted the good surprise on you.
Yeah. I mean, should we
Thursday
say it's
Dallas
game?
week? I mean, to me, like Dallas week always means like, all right, you got to dress for the occasion. Especially, look, we're under the lights here for the post game show. You got to dress for the press.
It was 14-6 at the half, so you felt like maybe that was an edge. But I mean, the 34-6. I feel like How do you go up from here?
I will find out on Thursday.
Fran said it, and I said it to you guys right before the show started, and I know there's more that goes into it. And Vinny, you can shed some light on this. Sirianni said, I know what the issue is going into the bye with tackling. To me, and I know it's not this simple. It really feels like Cooper DeJean changed everything.
Certainly the timing lines up, right? I mean,
but like to his point, that man doesn't miss a tackle in the open field.
And let's be honest, his makeup speed is out this world. So,
it's
by the time you catch the ball, he already on you.
Yeah.
I think it has gone hand in hand with the linebackers really starting to step up their play. We've seen really improved, obviously. Nakobe Dean and Zack Baun have been outstanding.
Dean's getting better by the week.
Great. Yeah, and you're seeing Quinyon Mitchell continuing to keep up his level of play. He's to me like
it's a workshop that.
Yeah, we're right. I think when you look at this group overall, though, it's a lot of fun to watch this group operate on. Whether it's the front or the coverage, it's a lot of fun watching those guys work.
Now, listen, we can understand that this Cowboys offense is a bad offense, but to be able to stifle them as much as they did, I mean, they get 5 turnovers. We've been talking about, they hadn't gotten too many turnovers. They have been coming, but it wasn't just the turnovers. It's not like those masks that they were getting. Moved the ball on throughout the game. I mean, they were 3 and outs every other possession. It was insane. The defensive line. What did you think of the defensive line, Vinny?
Oh man, I thought they definitely hurt us, throughout the weeks, and to come together today and the way the D line was playing and getting to the quarterback and rattling him today, it was something that us Eagles fans has been screaming for weeks. And the way this defense has been playing, hats off again, Coach Vic. You know what I mean? So he is definitely stepping up to the plate.
All right, we're going to hear from Nick Sirianni in a little bit. Of course, we will check in with Zack Berman, who is there at AT&T Stadium in a little bit. We've also got some super chats we can get to. Let us know what is the most exciting part of this defensive turnaround for you. We can run through some of those super chats now if you want, Julia. Let's see. Oh, Michael Dunn says hello. We did get to see Kenny Pickett in this game. Super chats. Kyle V says, I just want to be extra petty and draw attention to Dallas sucking. And boy, do they suck. I mean, you got to wonder, Dak Prescott likely undergoing season-ending surgery. This could be like
they should tank.
Top 5 pick territory.
Yeah, they should tank. There's absolutely nothing to play for if you're a Cowboys fan.
I don't think they need to purposely tank. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, but like maybe CeeDee Lamb, like, oh, you have an infected hangnail there. Like, put some guys on ice and just call it a day because they suck.
And this is good work by the commenters. I like to see this working together, this camaraderie from you guys in the chat, because just like the Eagles defense is coalescing, Alex Nuss comes in and says, I want to double down and match that guy who said Dallas sucks. And then Carry On said, let's triple down. Dallas triple sucks. So great work out of you guys. We also have another Kyle who says, in light of Marshall being bowl eligible, what's everyone's high in bowling?
Ooh.
I've broken 200 a couple times.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not too bad, but
I feel like 195. I don't know if I ever cracked 2.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got to 2.
I think I cracked 2 maybe like once. But
wow,
it was definitely a great weekend for Vinny Curry. Marshall's bowl eligible. We beat the brakes off of Dallas. This is a great weekend.
And we got exciting news about what's to come Thursday night later in the show. Aaron D also says, Vinny, buying our Super Bowl tickets now. We got an extra seat for you. Also, Zack Baun equals Pro Bowl. How good has Zack Baun been?
I'm pulling up. I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
Zack Baun's been everywhere. Like he's kind of like the energy. Like
forced, I believe, 2 of the 5 turnovers in this game.
5 turnovers. I just saw SportsCenter tweet out the most ever by the Eagles in Dallas. That doesn't suck to read.
It doesn't suck to read at all. You had the Milton Williams one, which that's sort of a bungled job by Cooper Rush. But Baun forces a couple. Bryce Huff on a very nice pass rush move. Now Bryce Huff in this game surpassed by Jalen Hurts. Huff was like the number 5 edge rusher in this game, but put together a very nice pass rush against Terrence Steele, which maybe we'll break down in a little bit.
Yeah, yes he did. He should have had 2, but we'll take the sack in the fumble.
Absolutely. All right. On the offensive side of the ball, it's they scored 34 points and they were fine, right? First half a little bit uneven. It seemed like things came together a little bit on that final drive of the first half, the 2-minute drill. Jalen Hurts really put something together, a nice touchdown pass to Dallas Goedert, avoiding the guy. But 5 sacks in the first half. We don't have to complain about that necessarily, but it was a little bit uneven in the first half. They come out and they get things done in the second half. A couple of really nice throws to A.J. Brown, 5 for 109 for A.J. Brown. Jalen Hurts finishes 14 of 20 for 202 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception, and 2 more touchdowns rushing, responsible for 4 touchdowns, Vinny.
Dude, A.J. Brown is, I know we say this every week, but God damn.
The reason he's over your shoulder, yeah.
Oh, always open. Like, Can we get a shirt that say always open? Oh,
I want a Grant
goodness.
Concatera shirt that says always open. But
God, you know what I mean? The dude is just a phenomenal football player.
Yeah, the interception in the beginning, I kind of give credit to Diggs. It was a tight window.
Yeah.
Hell of a play by him. He tipped the cap.
it seemed like he fooled Jalen on that play.
Yeah, and then, he was great from there on out. The one fumble, and then I started seeing some of the pictures of Dallas Cowboys Stadium. And, just lock Jerry Jones up. That is ridiculous that you have an NFL stadium with sun coming through glass at you at sunset. Because I was wondering, me and Rich Hoffman were out at the Rook in Manayunk, and we were like, why is he seems to be holding the ball so long. Yeah, because he was blind. Now I'm like,
I think we
okay.
should embrace it. I think we should make all NFL stadiums like baseball stadiums, where you can change what the dimensions
shadows,
and stuff like that. Yeah, that's really good.
The thing
Get
is
nasty.
that it's not like in Tampa, right, where all the sun's on the visiting sideline. And
Sure.
It just,
Bro.
It's right at you.
CeeDee Lamb on that play in the end zone, the only time Dallas had a chance to score a touchdown in the game, he literally said after, he's like, yeah, I couldn't see that throw.
It's
the ball right in
ridiculous.
front of me, I couldn't see it.
What a joke.
They lost a game earlier this year where Jalen told where there was a ball, it was a fourth down throw downfield, and he lost it in the lights, and they lost the game.
Maybe it's a Jalen thing.
Yeah, it could be a Jalen thing. I will say, Neil Deaver in the chat asked about Jalen Hurts, and Bo, you will like this. This was his third worst rating from PFF, so far, just in terms
Hold
of
on
the
a
season. I will say, look, so Neil asked.
Off the TV tape?
Well, yeah, it's going to be initial grades. They put that out just the same way that we're here giving our initial reactions before we got the chance to go back and look.
Yeah, we're not officially grading.
Well, yeah, we're giving our official opinions on stuff. But I think a lot of that had to do with what he did in the first half and some of the things that you talked about. A lot of that pressure, I think, was invited by Jalen. Not a lot of misses in this game, but I think when you look at that, you pair that with the interception, that would explain why the
Mr.
services might
Magoo
have
in the
been
chat
down.
had it as his 7th best game of the season, so it means just as much.
It was kind of
We'll wait for the Bo Football Focus rating later.
Please. Saquon Barkley dealt with a bit of an injury end of the first half. We were worried about that. Came back. They rode him early in the third quarter. It finishes with 14 carries for 66 yards to go with 1 catch for 12 yards. So one of the nice things about this performance is that ahead of the Thursday night game, they were able to not overwork the big important guys and give them a little bit of extra rest ahead of a game on Thursday against the Commanders team that had to fight till the end and lost by a point.
and Pittsburgh's like a hard physical team.
Yeah.
So,
point.
them on short week coming here, that's a big advantage for the Eagles being able to put Vinny, do you want to step in here and take the honors for Saquon?
Saquon! Listen,
I feel like Saquon has been so good that you have had to say that so much that it's hurting your voice.
Yo, let me explain. We're going to need him so much on Thursday.
Yep.
So, like you said, they gave the guy, excuse my voice, y'all, I've been screaming. They gave the guys, a chance to get some rest,
Jalen had the ankle
That's
too.
what I'm saying, yeah. Like get some of the guys, that was battling some little injuries and to go out there and put up 30 points on them. Just calm the dogs down, and guys like Kenny Pickett and Shipley, get them guys, a crack at it.
And if you want to get yourself some Saquon merch, we have all kinds of opportunities for you on the PHLY locker. We got the Saquon shirt, and we've also got the little reverse jump, which you can get. So help yourself out on that front. Otherwise, on offense, Fran, I mean, the flow of this game is such that it's hard to necessarily make too much of it. But what did you think of the offensive performance overall?
Yeah, I think that, look, the run game was not as explosive as we've seen, and certainly what our expectations were coming into this game, right, with Dallas's run defense being what it was. I think we expect a little bit more in the explosive category from the run game, but Saquon's injury in the first half may have had something to do with that. I think the big thing was that they were consistently able to stay efficient. We didn't see a lot of negative plays from Hurts, and once he was able to get rid of the football, we saw those sacks in the first half, but the ball rarely hit the ground, and so they were consistently able to stay on schedule in that way. Jalen made some explosive runs as a scrambler in this one, and we already talked about AJ. So I think overall, pretty good performance. I don't think it's going to go down as like one of their best of the season, but I think certainly they were efficient. They stayed on schedule. They put a lot of points on the board. Certainly they worked with some short fields as well, but it's not even then. A lot of the shortest fields, they still only converted for field goals, not even for touchdowns. This could have been an even bigger laugher than it was.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts only completes 14 passes in this game.
Yeah.
And,
Don't remind me.
Nobody else other than AJ had more than 27 yards receiving or more than 2 catches. And so there will be games later this season where Devontae is blowing up more or Dallas Goedert's blowing up more. But I thought just the drive at the end of the first half was the most important thing because, it's 7-6. It's a bit of a slog there. And for them to put that drive together, from then on, it really was sort of over.
Yeah, I think that was just big for a tone-setting way to go into the locker room. And what does that do, Vinny, for a defense, even for the offense? Hey, you know what? The offense is getting the ball at the end of the half. When you come back into the third quarter, you get points on the board. Now it's like you're stealing a possession back. What does that do for the defense?
And I could guarantee you, going into that locker room, that they were saying, like, we're not playing our best football right now.
Right.
And you come out in the second half and you dominate the game the way they dominated.
Yeah.
That's what you call winning football right there.
Yeah, we were sitting at the Rook, and the feeling amongst everybody was kind of like, why are they only up 1 right now? Like, you started getting those bad thoughts in your head. Like, is this going to be one of those weird games? So that touchdown pretty much was the nail on the coffin. That did change everything.
Yeah, the one thing that was going for the Cowboys in the first half, they got Rico Dowdle going a little bit. He had 10 for 50 in the first half, finishes with 12 for 53. So they shut that down.
I thought Jalen Carter, back to the defense, I thought he was just moving people around today. He looked like it was a dominant game from, a half bar, half office viewing. Mm-hmm. I thought he was trouble today.
So physically, Vinny, for this Eagles team now, flying home from Dallas, the turnaround to the Thursday night home game against Washington, what is ahead of them this week? How's that going to feel? What do they have to do?
You got to go over the tape. They're probably not going to grade it. They probably just move straight on to Washington. You want to make sure everybody get off that plane and get in the cold tub. I don't care how late it is. Take care of the body. Get in the cold tub. They probably have a late afternoon start tomorrow to get this thing going. So
that flight home from Dallas is a tough one, right? Like that's
it's
longer than you think every time.
Yeah. Tough. but listen, on a great note, this wasn't the 8:20 game.
Yeah.
The 8:20 game, you don't get home until like 2-3 in the morning. It's crazy.
And it's after a win too, so that always makes it feel a little bit better.
Is a Dallas flight home more fun than any other flight home in a victory?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They passing food around, passing snacks around. And
Saquon Barkley's first win over the Cowboys ever.
Ever.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane. And Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, their first win in Dallas, although technically Arlington. None of the other teams in the division, Washington, New York, Dallas, none of them play where they say they play.
I never thought of that.
They're liars.
Bunch of liars.
They're all liars.
Stolen valor. Geographical stolen valor.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
For you, Jamie, is the Cowboys number one?
No, for me personally, it was the Giants.
Okay.
Because I went to college with so many New Yorkers that my hatred for them, and it was right during like stupid Eli face, and they kind of had the upper hand, and then thanks to my man to the right here, we kind of flipped it on them, and now we've dominated them for 17 years or something.
It's been a crazy number.
So because I knew more New Yorkers, they became a bigger rivalry to me. But Dallas is still sweet.
Nick Sirianni seems to be taking his sweet time.
Celebrating in there.
Yeah, he's celebrating in there. Why he's watching the show, ain't
fair, yeah, let's just be fair. He deserved it this game. This go around, this team has been playing phenomenal football.
They have been.
Collectively.
Yeah, they're 7-2.
You're sitting at 7-2. You just dominated.
They're undefeated since he shaved his head.
Man.
I was just going to ask you, does he shave it again or does he keep it going?
Don't
let it go. All right.
Don't mess with me.
That's why everyone in the chat is saying how we need to get Vinny a lozenge. No, we can't mess with Vinny either. Everything's got to stay exactly the same.
Do not touch that head.
No, but I do think if they do lose another game, they may not. I wonder, someone else has to then be the one to shave their head.
Him.
You go back to Nick?
Go back to him.
It would be funny to do I don't know. Who would be the funniest guy to shave their head? Nick Gates? Kellen Moore.
Yeah. I got to think on that one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
It's probably Nick Gates.
There's not a lot of guys.
He would look bizarre.
Yeah.
Avante.
Yeah.
Let us know in the chat who you think should shave
Can he pick it? Can he pick it?
Game again? Yeah. Pickett's a good one.
Yeah.
That would be a good way for him to contribute.
But there'd be a way to make up for him missing Calcaterra on that third down.
Unbelievable, man. Cost me my mortgage.
You say they're 7-2, and you know what I just thought? Like, my immediate thought was,
They should be in one.
yes. And then if Saquon just caught the ball, they beat the Falcons. And yeah, it's crazy. Like, they're good. I think it's official. Like, I don't think you have to, be like, all right, are they out of it? I think they're a good football team.
And it's like I said, it's a compliment. Winning teams know how to win.
Yeah.
Well, and we have seen them win in different ways.
Sure.
Right? And I want to ask you, Vinny, because I asked you this at halftime, Fran. The idea that potentially we have to flip the way we think about this Eagles team. What if this is a team where they lean on the defense being the best unit and not the offense?
What's wrong with that? I'm a defensive guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
So-
maybe this is a defensive football team that has explosiveness to every now and then put big plays together.
Yeah, we can't take it to the extreme.
Okay.
But, this defense is playing lights out.
Yep.
I mean, they come out the bye week and the way the defense has been rolling, almost the last couple games been almost shutouts.
Yeah.
Almost shutouts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just insane the changes that has been made to this defense and the way they've been playing. Oh my God!
Yeah, Tony Romo had a play tonight where he was talking about the two safeties, bracketing off guys and how the players are finally,
That was in every alley.
yeah, like they're just reacting to Vic's system. Like
was
they're
crazy.
they're over the point of like they're fully bought in and they believe
Mm-hmm.
and it's showing.
3 of the
By,
last 5 games, they have not allowed a touchdown on defense.
That's unbelievable.
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
By defensive APA per drive, it was just the first 3 quarters. It talks away at the end. It was their second best performance of the Sirianni era, behind that 44-6 blowout of the Lions a couple years ago. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Vic Fangio deserves like all kinds of flowers.
I think the big thing is just they showed a couple angles today on the all 22 and Romo pointing out the guys passing things off in coverage, and you see Cooper DeJean jumping a crossing route, and then Nakobe Dean passing one off, and then Quinyon Mitchell jumping over the top, and you have the safeties coming down. They're all working so well in unison, and that's been one of the hallmarks of with Vic Fangio defenses. You talk about linebacker play and the multiple fronts and things like that. To me, watching the guys on the back end, that has always been one of the hallmarks, their ability to stop those explosive plays. And that's what we've seen this unit grow into, is their ability, again, you're forcing the defense, or they're forcing the offense to earn every single yard. Nothing is easy. Any completion where a guy catches it where he doesn't have a defender right on him happens within the first 3 yards. It's those dump off plays, and that's when you see those guys come from depth and rally to the football and make those stops one-on-one. To me, that is one of the earmark, one of the hallmark identities of this Eagles defense.
Ezio in the chat, did you see that?
Well, go ahead.
Thinks Vic Fangio would be the funniest head shave.
I saw Howie too, which I think would be fun.
Howie came to my mind. Howie and Jeffrey came to my mind immediately.
Now, on the Howie front, because I think this is interesting what you were just saying, Fran.
Re-sign Zack Baun? Is that where you're going?
No, because I go back to in the start of training camp, asking Howie Roseman about Vic's tendency to play his defensive linemen a lot more than the Eagles traditionally have under Howie Roseman, and he said, we have to accept that we have to sort of become a little bit different philosophically on defense. We have to be comfortable with that being uncomfortable, and the way that this defense is succeeding is so different than the way that the Eagles have been built for so long under Howie Roseman. It has always been defensive line, defensive line, defensive line. We're going to put together the best group of pass rushers possible, and the back end will figure itself out. The defensive line has been good, but they don't have a star on the edge right now, right? Josh Sweat has been solid. Nolan Smith is ascending a little bit. Brandon Graham has been overperforming all expectations, but there's no Hassan Reddick type on this team. They are right now one of the better defenses in the league because of the back seven and because of the communication. It's very interesting that Howie Roseman has sort of handed the keys over to Vic Fangio, and it's working.
Not only that too, but I think a lot of the credit deserved to the players as well for kind of embracing that, in that you're not hearing, even when there was the sack drought, right? And it's like, oh, there's not a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You might have heard a young player like Jalen Carter kind of say like, oh yeah, maybe he's upset behind the scenes, and there's whispers of that. You haven't really seen that. Josh Sweat, all those guys embracing their roles, understanding, hey, you know what? Maybe I do have to drop 7, 8, 9 times in a game where that's uncomfortable for me. That's not what I've been asked to do in the past. But I think that speaks to a lot of those guys just embracing the role, trusting the scheme, and letting that do the work for them. And I think the proof is in the pudding. The coaching has been really, really good. We talked about Vic Fangio, but the assistants that they brought in, Christian Parker on the back end, Jeff King at linebacker, Jeremiah Washburn continues to do really good things with the outside backers, and then Clinton Hurt working with the interior line. I mean, this coaching staff has done a really, really good job on that side of the ball.
So it's interesting. I was thinking about cornerback play a lot this week because earlier this year when I got into it with Zach one Wednesday about the Eagles' identity offensively, my point was that cornerback play I think has, and you can speak to this from all the college scouting you've done, wide receivers were ahead for so long. Rules changes were in their favor. They were just getting bigger, better, and faster. I think cornerback play at the collegiate level has now elevated. They know exactly, these pro-style sets, so it's easier for guys to come in now and make impacts immediately. And I think last year the secondary was just it was bad. And just getting younger and faster, and Quinyon and Cooper and even Reed Blankenship, these guys, it's just secondary play across the NFL I think is elevated, and I think the Eagles hopped on that train and changed their defense entirely from last year to this year based on the secondary.
And with respect to Howie Roseman, it's also interesting because the big moves they made on defense this offseason, Bryce Huff has not performed up to his contract level. Devin White is no longer on the team. CJ Gardner-Johnson has been probably the least reliable guy in the secondary, despite being the second highest paid guy. But Zack Baun has been a borderline Pro Bowl caliber player. So they've turned the defense around, even though they haven't nailed all of their defensive offseason acquisitions.
I mean, the two biggest pieces are through the draft. I mean, this is looking like an A++ draft. Like those two, they changed everything. And, cornerback play is it's a beautiful thing to watch when you have it.
All right, we're going to hear from Nick Sirianni in just a little bit. But before that, a word from our sponsors. I'm going to talk to you about C-Jam Construction. Because let's say you're Jerry Jones and you spent a lot of money on this beautiful new stadium that you have, right? And your team is terrible. They stink it up so bad that you're going to have to remodel the bathrooms. Well, maybe C-Jam Construction could help them out. We're talking about a family-owned home remodeler specializing in decks, bathrooms, and flooring. And if your team is way worse than you thought the floor was this high and the team's all the way down here, maybe C-Jam can help you out. C-Jam's goal is to help their clients alleviate the challenges and frustrations that come with home remodeling. We all know how much of a pain that can be. Julia cracking that celebratory beer. We love that. And just like they love C-Jam Construction, celebrating a job well done. PHLY listeners can receive 15% off when you call in at 856-329-2933 about your next home project. See their full selection of luxury vinyl plank flooring and learn more about the products and warranties on their website at cjamconstruction.com/flooring.
I was actually just looking at all their pictures of their decking. It looks great. And if you, let's say, want to improve your house and you want to do some improvements around the house and you want C-Jam, well, you might need to take out a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. And if you talk to our friends over at TrueMark Financial, they can help you in all of this. If you're unfamiliar with credit unions, you should get familiar with them because it's always great to have somebody you trust in your corner. And with TrueMark Financial Credit, they can help you save for education. They can talk to you about taking out a HELOC to do that new deck or that new project at your house you want. They can help you find the best pass, educate and inform you along the way. Plus, they have all the convenience of the mobile banking that you're used to. So, boom, right then and there, anywhere you can do it right there on your phone. You can they can help you save. As little as $5 a week can be $260 by the end of the year, and that type of stuff helps out at Christmas time. So whatever it is, talk to our friends at TrueMark Financial. They're federally insured by the NCUA and an equal opportunity lender. For more information, visit truemark.com/PHLY. All
right, still waiting on Nick Sirianni, who, maybe he's shaving his whole body right now. What's going on?
He's naring it all.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni has not spoken yet, but Jerry Jones is speaking out to the locker room.
Oh, what's he saying?
Some good stuff. Philadelphia. Let me see if I can pull the exact
steam
quote.
coming out of his ears.
Here it is. Here's the tweet. Jerry Jones, you can't win games with 5 turnovers. Philadelphia is a high caliber team, and we are not up to it. Let's see if I can get some other
No lies.
pearls of wisdom there. Yeah, no word about the stadium yet.
Now, does Zach go to? Is it? It looked like it's just like kind of in the
It's out in the hallway.
No, it's usually just for the Cowboys reporters.
So Zach wouldn't scurry over there and try to get in with Jerry.
I guess not. But instead, we will hear now from Nick Sirianni.
When it wasn't going great.
White tee.
I think the defense has done a really nice job. They played
I love it.
forcing that turnover.
Going James Dean on this post game
to keep it at 7-3. But they played. I just thought that they played. They started fast. They played great throughout the entire game. We tackled. I love when we tackle well. I mean, we've tackled really well. Just those guys on that football team on the Cowboys have some guys that can really do some damage with the ball in their hands. CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson, obviously Zeke and 23. They got a lot of guys that can, and Turpin. They got a lot of guys that you got to be alert for. That was a keys all week of fundamentally sound. So we really tackled well, and we really did a good job taking the football away and having the football on our mind. And so good start by them, good performance by them all the way through.
How do you think Jalen played today?
Sorry. Yeah, I thought he did a lot of good things. Obviously didn't start the way we wanted it to start, but there's something to be said for guys that can rebound and play a really good game after things don't go right early on. We'll want some of those plays back. He'll want some of those plays back, but great job handling adversity, putting his head down, continuing to work. Again, I say it to you guys all the time. He's a winner. He knows how to win. He knows, every game's not going to be perfect. And I'm really proud of him and how he responded to a slow start and helped lead us to a victory.
Were they doing something to make him hold the ball longer?
No. I thought they played similar to what we thought. Obviously, that's a really good rush. They got some dangerous guy. I think, Diggs is a phenomenal football player. You always got to be aware of where he is. Obviously, if you make a mistake around him, anybody, if we're off on a landmark, if we're late with a throw, if we're anything, that guy can make you pay. I got a lot of respect for him and the way he can take the football away and the player that he is. And so I think a little bit, it was him on that side. The rush was getting there. We were in second and predictable, where you had to pass because we didn't get the run game going quite early as early as we wanted to and play the game we wanted to play. Hats off to them of how they stopped us early on, but good rebound by our players and our coaches to turn the tide in the second half.
What's impressive most about Zack Baun through 10 games?
Man, he just keeps getting better. Wasn't a lot of plays that he had at inside linebacker coming into this. Like I said, I kind of gushed to you guys about Bobby King earlier this week and the job he's doing. And then that's the same thing with Kobe getting everybody on the same page. Zach's a great athlete. He's tough. You see him in the open field making tackles. You see him sticking his face in there in tight quarters. You see him being able to rush. He's on a streak right now of taking the football away and the ball being on his mind. Just think he's a really good he's just a really good, best compliment I can give a guy is, man, that guy's a really good football player. And that happens when you're tough, you're physical, all detailed, and he's playing really fundamentally sound and just getting better every time he steps out in the field.
Nick, Jalen Carter said that every week they watch tapes of different turnovers from around the league. Why do you do that? What do you think the benefit is of showing the players that?
Yeah, again, you're just trying to put them in positions. Like, you can only practice it so many times, right? So you put them in drills, you put them in practice, we harp on it. Anytime there's an opportunity missed at practice, that's going to be in the team meeting the next day as far as, hey, we got this vice tackle right here. You're not taking a shot at the ball, or you are taking a shot at the ball. And so it's on our mind. It's the same way we do it with the offense and how we take care of the football. And then the best thing, I think good teams learn from their mistakes, and great teams learn from everybody's mistakes, right? And so, you can watch situational football throughout the week and say, hey, here's what, this team did in this scenario, and you get better from that, whether it was good or bad. And you do the same thing with fundamentals. I really look at football IQ and fundamentals very similar, right? And so that's a big process of what we go through early in the week. a big process what we go through late in the week, and you can always learn from it, right? There was an Ohio State, Penn State play where the guy had the ball on his outside arm, and good tomahawk hit on the ball near the goal line. On the quarterback of Ohio State, rolled out of bounds. Like we're going to learn from everything we possibly can. Shoot, there was a clip that was somebody saw on Twitter or whatever, and this little kid ran from behind, took it from the guy because the guy wasn't locked in, and then we'll learn from anything we can possibly learn from. I heard St. Joe's Prep got a big win over LaSalle.
Boo!
But a good battle on both teams.
Boo! They beat them earlier this year,
learn
Nick.
something from that game. Anything we can learn
Unnecessary.
from, we will. And I think that's a sign of a good team. Again, like I said,
You're going to be
I
on
say to the
tilt.
guys, good teams.
We can pull out.
Why do you
have to bring that up?
I feel like I'm impressed with Nick today because I was worried he was going to be on tilt this whole game because the Steelers beat the Commanders by drawing them off sides.
Yes.
That is Nick's dream. I thought for sure.
Rich actually cracked a joke at the Rook, and he said the same thing. Rich was like, "Oh, he's going to do this 20 times next week."
I thought he was going to be furious. That's his dream is to win a game that way.
I thought he might try on the first play of this game just because you got to follow that up with something.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of
now that the Commanders have put that on tape, he's going to that's going to be the whole game plan this week. Fantastic. All right, let's get to the super chats that we have here. Oh, we got some good. But what about the actual super chats? Any more? I think there's one from Santiago who says, "I'm a Cowboys fan and I have a tiny penis." I don't know why.
Thank you for your honesty, Santiago.
We appreciate the honesty.
Yes.
All right, Fran.
Got a self-scout,
How did, without having looked at the film, Fran, there's a question about how you think the Eagles went about shutting down CeeDee Lamb.
Oh, that's good.
Vinny, you must have been the mature one here to pull us out of this.
We're good.
How did the Eagles shut down CeeDee Lamb? 6 catches for 21 yards. I mean, they played a terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that was a big part of it, and it's a lot of the stuff that we've talked about, where the how tight the coverage is on the back end. They're not allowing anything free down the field. Anything that you're seeing is going to be all the stuff underneath. We made the point during halftime. You look back at that Cincinnati game, and Jamar Chase, I mean, he was averaging something like he was averaging double-digit yards per catch. It was close to 7 yards after the catch per reception. And in that game, he averaged just 6 yards a catch. They're just not giving anything free, especially to those top targets. And so if you have a player like a CeeDee Lamb, the Eagles are going to make it so that you're going to have to find somebody else to beat you. And I think that's been one of the more impressive things to see over this stretch, certainly. And we'll see what they're going to do this coming Thursday against Terry McLaurin, because you're going to have a similar plan.
He's playing really well right now, McLaurin. Yeah. Would you like your Quinyon Mitchell stat porn?
Please, let's hear it. We got to get this segment sponsored.
Yeah, maybe Blue Chew wants to hop in and get involved. Quinyon Mitchell today, 4 targets, 2 receptions, 14 yards, 2 forced incompletions, a 58.3 passer rating. If this dude isn't a finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'll be shocked.
That has been your Q-Chew tablet of the week.
Nice, very nice. Thank you. The play in the first half when he forces that incompletion in tight coverage on the sideline, it would not be rare to see a young player panic a little bit in that situation.
I think Daynez tweeted something out similar. He plays with the maturity, the maturity of a 10-year vet.
Very, very aware. In that way, it reminds me a little bit of Devontae Smith, a guy who is extremely comfortable in space, always knows where he is, and does it in a very precocious way. Like he looks like a veteran from the jump.
I have a question.
He reminds me of Devontae a little bit.
Excuse me, Vinny's talking.
I know. I was just following your point. He reminds me of Devontae because Devontae is the same way. Sorry.
I just said that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. He really reminds me of Devontae.
One penis joke.
Tie on
off the rails.
What's your question, Vinny?
When is the last time the Eagles had 2 Pro Bowl corners?
Oh, was it the? Well, no, because Bradbury made All Pro but didn't make Pro Bowl in 22, right? That would have been.
But that's you could think that's similar level, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little stat for your little.
Yeah. And Slade's playing pretty well too.
Yes.
I know he,
Yes.
because of like the way the season was going, people kind of made Slay a target a little bit, and he kind of makes himself a target.
What do you? But don't Coop get labeled as a corner too?
Yeah. But Slay's,
that's true.
throw him some flowers. I think he's playing pretty well.
Yeah, he came back in this game, was hobbled at one point. Isaiah Rodgers comes in, and then he did come back to not finish the game because they ended up pulling guys, but was out there.
I was thinking like Shea. Was it Lito and Sheldon?
Lito and Sheldon. I mean,
did they
That's
pull
what I was
off?
thinking too. But basically what I'm saying is that's how impressive the secondary has been.
It really is.
very impressive. Have you guys watched? I know you've done some early work on Washington. What's your read on Washington so far, Vinny? Have you paid attention?
Yes. They know how to manage the game. They put their quarterback in great position. They don't get him to do nothing too much, but he makes the right throws.
Yeah.
And which,
super
correct
accurate.
me if I'm wrong, this is going to, I feel like going to be our advantage into the game because we make phone booth tackles.
Yep.
And that's where he likes to make his throws is right away, get a couple yards and march down the field.
What I like about it is that they're aggressive and put pressure on you in every turn. I mean, obviously you have Jaden Daniels. His ability to win as a runner, as a scrambler, is something you have to account for, and there's a lot of pressure there. They're a very on script, on schedule run team. They're very efficient with Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler, and so you have to respect their run game. But then they're also a very vertical offense on top of that. And so when you have Terry McLaurin and you have that speed coming at you, and again, it's a lot of vertical routes, a lot of intermediate chunk plays, deep digs, outside the numbers, between the numbers, all areas of the field. They're going to put pressure on you, and you've got to make sure that you're really, really disciplined both on the front and on the back end as well. And so it's not quite like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase level in terms of, all right, this is going to be a big test, but it is going to be a big test on Thursday, especially on a short week.
Yeah, and he does Daniels from, just talking to my buddies down there, like that city is in love. Like he doesn't turn the ball over.
They have a very low bar, but yes. I mean they've been good, but yeah, I mean they would be in love with 500.
They were in the gutter.
Yeah.
So this has brought them back to life. But I mean, every time I watch him, I haven't sat down and watched a full Commanders game, but the glimpses I see, this dude protects the ball really well. He puts the ball where the defender isn't for his guys. He's, kind of mature beyond his years.
Well, I'm
excited to play him, like, in all honesty.
I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch him.
This is huge.
And as we wait for Zack Berman to check in a little bit ways away, I think, because he's going to talk to Jalen Hurts, it's also going to be a fun night on Thursday night because Vinny Curry, our Vinny Curry, is officially retiring as an Eagle.
Yes. Oh, man.
What a night it's going to be.
Man, what a night it's going to be indeed. It's
Are you nervous?
Did you pick out your outfit yet?
That's what I was going to say. I want to know the Fran tie. You must
man.
have an idea. What's it going to be?
No, I don't really have an outfit yet, but it's just
you got a special pair of J's you're saving for this?
Ooh.
You might have to get some.
We know you got a lot to choose from.
Treat yourself this week, Vinny.
4 days away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only thing that would make that night more special if we win. Because then I feel like the winner of that game is going to determine a lot with the division.
I think it is the division. I mean, it's not, but you know what I mean. I think it's the division's on the line Thursday.
What are you feeling emotionally?
Emotionally, I'm just like, wow. Growing up, to me as a 5-year-old kid, has been diehard Philadelphia Eagle fan, and to play here for all them years and win Super Bowl here. And to retire Eagle means a lot.
I mean, I remember your first day at the NovaCare complex.
Me too.
It was a big day. It was, the full circle. Brian Dawkins' retirement press conference.
Man, people always say to me, like, yo, what's your, the coolest moment? I say, shit, excuse my mouth, but
it's fine.
The coolest moment is walking in there and Dawkins in there and Vic in there, and it's like, they so embracive. It was crazy.
Wow. What a first day.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm telling you. I think I smiled for 6 weeks straight after that.
Yeah.
Anything that pissed me off, I still was smiling.
So how many friends and family are you bringing to the game? Obviously Noah and everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
We might see if we can get Noah Carey in this game.
I'm telling you, I think it'll be fun. It'll be fun. But yeah, man,
It's gonna be a special
awesome.
night. That's
awesome.
That's awesome. I can't wait to watch. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And then we get the official signing of the contract photo from the Eagles.
We're going to go up for the coin toss too, I think.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So what's your coin toss philosophy? I'm a tails never fails guy.
Yeah, I'm a tails never fails guy. Well,
A lot of love in the chat for you right now, Vinny.
Thank you.
Congrats, King. Very happy for you. You lived every kid's dream.
Yeah, you really
We
did.
love it.
You lived every kid's dream. I'm
getting
happy for
to
you.
sit next to Jamie Lynch on a post-game show. You know how many kids out there?
It's all down
Dreaming
here.
about that.
listen, if we're talking about the Eagles winning football games, this is great.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about it, Jamie. We pick our heads up now. The Eagles are 7-2.
They're good.
Too.
You know, Detroit's got a tough game tonight at Houston. There's
Sure
a possibility the Eagles will be in a three-way tie with Minnesota and Detroit for the best record in the conference.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
It's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, I bet Nick Sirianni has taken a kind of a deep breath, a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
That the hounds are off of his back some. But it really is remarkable.
We pick our head up in February. The Eagles haven't lost, and he looks like Tom Hanks in Castaway. It's just like hasn't shaved at all.
But since the bye week, it's really incredible what we're seeing. And it all starts with the defense, as we've been talking about. But Jalen, he's protecting the ball. The turnover sloppiness stopped. Obviously having A.J. Brown back every single game changes everything.
If we are trying to be a little bit cautious, Fran, and
there's no holes in this team. Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, like what worries you about this team in a big game?
I mean, in a big game, I would say that you want. I mean, look, if you're looking at the last month, right? Look at the last 4 weeks. Obviously, they're running the ball really, really well. The defense is playing outstanding. The weakest facet of the game right now has been the pass game offensively and Jalen's execution consistently. We haven't seen that like full complete like, oh wow, this was an A++ game. Last week I thought that he was really, really good for maybe the second half, but the first half was very up and down. So I think ultimately what you want is to see that pass game really kind of come into form. Look, they've got Washington this week. After that, the Rams are starting to play good football. They've got a game tonight, so we'll see them tonight. Baltimore Ravens the week after that. Then you have Carolina, but then you've got Pittsburgh. You have Washington again. And then you have the Cowboys and Giants to round things out.
Do you think part of that's league-wide, though? Because, like, outside of your occasional, like, Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Noah must have loved that on Thursday night if he saw that.
Oh, man.
He went crazy.
But I feel like
watching it
quarterback
right
play
now,
in the
I guarantee
passing
you.
game is kind of down league-wide.
It is, but what you don't want, there's different tiers to different layers to it, right? And so what you don't want is the down where you have turnovers and where you're taking points off the board. I think there are things you're willing to accept. You know what? Like the drive just wasn't there, and they had to punt. Three out of 4 drives, something like that. You're going to go through those dry spells, but to me, you don't want the killer turnovers, especially in negative territory. You don't want to take points off the board like they did tonight with the red zone pick. That's going to be the big thing. And honestly, like the run game has been hitting on all cylinders, and the defense playing at this level, that's the area we're going to look at and say that's where they need to improve.
Mine in big game is probably Nick Sirianni's decision making.
I don't
I'm
think
still
that-
not
I
out of the woods yet.
I don't think that's a crazy answer.
No, it's not.
Like,
It's a valid point.
that's probably my biggest concern with the team right now.
We have to see them manage
Under a
the
magnifying
difficult
glass
decisions
in a playoff
yes,
game.
I think that's right.
That does give me a little hesitation still.
I think what is encouraging about this team is I think they have optionality in that there are a lot of ways they can win a game.
Sure.
The passing game has been sub expectation of late, but certainly there is a likelihood at times against good teams when they can just rely on A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and expect that Jalen Hurts can pop some big plays. If they need to, sometimes they can just lean on the running game and lean on Saquon Barkley. And the way the defense is playing right now, there are games where even if they're not up to snuff offensively, maybe the defense can steal a game for them. And so I think the well-roundedness of the team right now gives them lots of different paths on a week-to-week basis.
No question. I think that the big thing that you're looking for the teams that are going to win December, January, and hopefully into February is offensively. You want to be able to put points on the board, and you have to find different ways to do that. But defensively, what can you do against the best quarterbacks, and can you be opportunistic? And we saw them tonight get a lot of turnovers in this football game, which is great. But I think the big thing is that you want your defense to be able to make that big play when the big play is available to them. The turnovers haven't been there, so you hope that there's like that upswing going back the other way here down the stretch. But the ability to show that, hey, if we need to run it 30 times and that's how we're going to win this game, that's great. If you need to throw it and win the game through the air, they have that ability as well. You just hope that it's hitting in the games where you need it to be able to hit.
All right, let's check out the newest super chats that we have had come through of late. We have Aaron D, who says, I can vouch for Santiago. Vincent Pellegrini says, congratulations, Vinny. And Benjamin says, Vinny, huge full circle because Thursday is the anniversary of the Marshall plane crash.
Yep.
Got to rock to 75. Go Herd.
Wow.
I think you knew that.
Yeah,
That's part of the deal.
Why I picked this date.
Yeah.
They wanted me to do it earlier in the season. And I was like, what about that Thursday night?
See, he's a Marshall man.
Look at that.
Vince also says, what is it like to play Sunday then Thursday? How do players get ready for such a short turnaround? Vince, I guess, missed the beginning of the show when we asked Vinny that question. But what is it like?
Oh man, so you want to cold tub as much.
What
as
is it
possible.
for you? What was it for you? Cold tub was the big thing.
Yeah, cold tub was the big thing, and practice is not your traditional practice.
It's more like walkthrough.
More like a walkthrough,
Yeah.
because you're still trying to recuperate.
Is the game plan from your memory a little bit pared down, a little bit more simple?
No,
Or
more.
it's
It's more. Everything becomes more mental than ever.
okay.
Especially when we was there, and when you took a step wrong, they were like, start it over. Like, it's a walkthrough, bro. But it was when you chase the championship, everything matters.
Yeah.
Especially in November and December, bro. Everything matters.
So let me ask you this. When you're going up against a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, and everyone's going to talk about being disciplined in your rush lanes, the short week, how does that impact that? Does it impact that in terms of just going through the paces of that with your line mates?
I'm glad you said that. I would think this short week will help better prepare because everything is mental.
Anyway,
so now you're not looking at the ball. You're not guessing. You really have to over-exaggerate who you got, what lane you got, and who you take it, either the dive or the QB. And they trust me, they're gonna run it back like a real practice. Even though you're walking out there, they still gonna treat it like a real practice and watch the film after the practice.
Yep.
So when it comes to the actual Thursday game, is it the first couple plays like adrenaline's taking over and you maybe don't feel the physical short week and then it catches up with you? Like, do you feel it? Do you feel worse? Like, how does that go?
As soon as you hear that, it's time to bring the ruckus. The day we go back into the locker room, it's gone. Whatever you feel it, that's out.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And
It's
can you
now.
maintain that? Like, do you ever have like a comeback to physicality of like, okay, the adrenaline wore off and like, oh damn.
No.
Okay.
No, especially if you're getting 3 and outs or you're scoring touchdowns, the link is going to be rocking. You feeding off that energy. Because mentally you're thinking to yourself, shit, we got Friday, Saturday, Sunday to recover.
Yeah.
You a Toradol guy? I mean, you're allowed to do it. Like you're not playing anymore.
Yeah, definitely was a Toro.
Yeah. How does that feel?
You don't feel nothing.
Right? Like,
So pretty good.
yeah.
So he actually was the
Sounds great.
running off. You don't feel nothing.
We should just for a bit do that before a post game show one day and just see how it goes.
Just have Jamie do it.
I did. My buddy Trey Thomas, he made us do the smelling salts once before the radio show. Woo! Woo! I'll do that. I'll run that back for sure.
Yeah.
If you guys want to do smelling salts.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why
I
not?
need my nose. I think I need my nose hairs.
All right, we are still waiting for Zack Berman, so let's take a little break now to hear from the rest of our sponsors. You heard Julia crack one in the back earlier.
I got one right here.
Jamie's got one right here. That's right. We're talking about our friends at Miller Lite because a lot has changed over the years, but one thing that hasn't is the great taste of Miller Lite. Another thing that hasn't changed is that it's less filling. So what is the best thing about the original light beer? Well, Miller Lite sparked this debate in 1975, and we still Haven't settled it. You know what I did yesterday afternoon? Made a little chili.
Ooh.
So I'm drinking a Miller Lite, and I'm pouring a Miller Lite in the chili. You know, it's absolutely.
It's versatile.
It's versatile. It was great tasting, and it was less filling. It's fantastic. Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality, great taste, only 96 calories. It's the beer that strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most. A light beer that tastes like beer, less filling, and only 96 calories. The original light beer since 19 Vinny Curry's number.
75.
And let me tell you about it, as I was just scratching my eye, probably because of the fall allergies out there. They're a bastard. I was raking this weekend and whoosh, a flood of allergies hit over me. So I got to stop into my friendly neighborhood Rite Aid, talk to the pharmacist about what I can do to prevent, those allergy outbreaks. The main culprits this time of the year are plants like sagebrush, tumbleweed, and pigweed. Of course, awful dust mites. And, of course, pet dander and fur. Whenever I go over to my in-laws, I'm dying with allergies. Allergic reactions happen when our body misidentifies a substance, such as pollen. It's harmful. The Rite Aid pharmacist can walk you through all of this, maybe recommend using a dehumidifier or checking the pollen counts, keeping windows and doors closed, running some AC more, whatever it is. Tons of over-the-counter options available for you. So stop into your friendly neighborhood Rite Aid today and talk to a pharmacist about more.
All right. Good timing, everybody, because that has brought us to the point now where we can talk to the Hall of Famer himself, Zack Berman, who is live from AT&T Stadium. How you doing, Zack? What kind of backdrop are we working with?
Oh, I couldn't get into a coach's booth here or a broadcast booth here, so I'm actually in the back of the press box. I hope I'm not bothering those who are working on their stories here. But I didn't want to keep you guys waiting, looking for a backdrop. And had I gone outside, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get back in.
Okay, so guys, keep this in mind. The rest of the press box can hear what Zack is saying, so let's try to make him say some embarrassing stuff.
Zack, we have to talk to you about Santiago.
About Santiago.
You'll understand.
Like from A Few Good Men?
You'll watch the show.
Okay.
What was the
Who ordered the code red, right?
Like, Zack, this is a team that is now 7-2. The defense absolutely balled out. What was it like?
It was interesting. Vinny would appreciate this, especially like the veteran players. They had already moved on. I was talking to Lane, and he was saying that before the game, he was trying to figure out the Washington-Pittsburgh score, right? And then because he kind of knew it, and then it was close. He had to go out on the field. He found out during the game. Some other guys were like, once the game was over today, it was like right away turning to Washington. Jalen Hurts said he typically has this 24-hour rule. Not today. He'll start talking to guys. He'll start talking to coaches on the plane about this game. Once the plane lands, he's on to Washington. So for most of the guys, they were saying like they're not even going to enjoy the flight home. But in the locker room, there was a sense overall that this was obviously a really strong defensive performance. The turnovers in particular was what jumped out to a lot of the defensive players that I spoke with. Offensively, Saquon Barkley said the crazy thing is they haven't scratched the surface yet. And I asked him, what will that look like then? And he said, it'll be scary. But he said for them to be winning like this, for him to win in Dallas for the first time, right? And for them not to scratch the surface, he thinks that says a lot about it. So this is a team that is, they're obviously clicking, but in speaking to them, there's obviously focus on Washington. There's appreciation for the way the defense is playing, and there's an understanding that the offense can play better.
I want to know about the guys you talked to in the locker room and some of those insights. But from a Jalen Hurts perspective, did he talk about the first half? Was it related to the sunlight?
Oh, I didn't hear anything specific to the sunlight.
Oh, okay.
He said on the interception, Diggs made a really good play on the ball, and he said like he looked at he knew what happened there. He said he thought he could get it in. He said number 7 made a really good play on the ball. After the fumble, he went over on the bench, shaking everyone's hands, kind of saying that's on him. But I did not hear anything specifically about the sunlight. Was that a big?
Yeah,
was that a big storyline back home?
He couldn't see.
So here's a quote from CeeDee Lamb right now regarding the play in the touchdown that Fran made reference to. I couldn't see the ball. Couldn't see the ball at all. The sun. The reporter said, "Are you in favor of curtains?" Yes, 1,000%.
Well,
Sounds like Jerry's got to go into his pockets.
Need some C-Jam. Who'd you talk to in the locker room, Zach?
Spoke to a number of players. Spoke because I did not go to Nick Sirianni today, knowing that here I'm in Dallas. They're quick exiting. I won't get a lot of cracks at these players this week. So I really wanted to work the room. Lane Johnson on the offensive side, Lane Johnson, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goedert. On the defensive side, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Brandon Graham, Milton Williams, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean. So spoke to there's a few more guys in there, and then obviously Jalen Hurts too. So really try to get a good cross section, offensively, defensively. Young players and veterans to try to get a sense of how they're interpreting this win. And a few of the defensive players when I walked in were saying like Milton was the MVP. Milton was the MVP. I thought Milton played well today, right? I mean, he had the fumble recovery, but in talking to Milton, he said they were just giving him a hard time because he was close to home. They knew how much this one meant to him. Zack Baun got a lot of praise from teammates. Zack Baun went to the podium, so I did not speak to him. I stayed in the locker room the whole time. I will hear more from Zack Baun when I listen back, but like the guys are just in awe of the way he's playing from his conversion to edge to linebacker. He's really setting the tone for that defense. Really, a major talking point from other defensive players was just how much they've been harping on turnovers in meetings, and showing clips of like every turnover around the league, like to try to get a sense of this. And so for them to have a 5 takeaway performance was a big deal.
Well, we appreciate everybody who's watching on TV. Head over to allphly.com for more of the show. Zach, having watched this game live, what was the most impressive part of the performance to you?
Well, so I could say the defense. That seems fairly obvious. I mean, they're playing against Cooper Rush, but even still, the efficiency with which they played, the fact, I mean, Dallas couldn't move the ball, and even the times the Eagles gifted the Cowboys the ball inside the red zone, the Eagles hold them out of the end zone. The Eagles have gone 3 of 5 games here without allowing a touchdown. That is absurd. They forced 5 3-and-outs today, 5 takeaways. So I get it. There have been times covering the Eagles over the past decade plus where they're facing bad quarterbacks, and you say, well, it's the quarterback. Think of like the Nucci game, for instance, also against the Cowboys. You think about, what was it, the Luke Falk game with the Jets, right? There have been a number of games like that, but this, you still need to show up. You still need to play. You're still going against CeeDee Lamb. And I mean, CeeDee Lamb couldn't do anything on the Eagles. He had 25 yards and 6 catches. So I think overall, just how dominant of a defensive performance this was. The efficient, I thought Jalen played really well outside of the turnovers. Both touchdown passes were especially impressive because he eluded the defender coming at him. He kept his eyes downfield. He bought time. He threw strikes. I was impressed with both of those plays. Jalen was asked about the ankle. He said he's fine. He asked, how did he look out there? And I bring that up because I thought he ran well today too. He extended some drives with his legs. So I thought this was a good Jalen performance. And then just the overall efficiency in terms of the way they played on third down, the way they played in the red zone. I'll speak to Professor Selman later this week about some of my disagreements about like the importance of third down. They didn't even have to get the fourth down today, right? They didn't attempt the fourth down because they were so efficient. I think they converted 4 of their first 7 third downs. They were money in the red zone, 4 or 5 in the red zone, if memory serves. So when you're able to play like that, you're going to score touchdowns. You're going to extend drives. You're not going to punt the ball very often. I just give them a lot of credit.
Now, Zach, I have a very important question for you. On Thursday night, Vinny Curry is going to officially retire as an Eagle. As the man who wrote the story about Vinny's collection of Jordans, what pair of Jordans do you think he should wear?
Ooh.
So I need better prep for this question.
You wrote the story.
I know. I'm trying to think. So the Jordan 3s, is that am I right there? The Jordan 3s?
It's some threes.
There's some threes.
Okay.
They're after the twos.
Okay.
Before the fours.
Okay. I know whatever Vinny wears, he's gonna pull it off, man.
No doubt
Those
about that.
Jordans, yeah. I'm envious of that collection.
What else, Zach? Because this game it's kind of anticlimactic the way it turned out. What else would you like to share with us?
Yeah. I mean, like the manner in which the group was turning around to Washington, I thought was especially notable. Dallas Goedert was thrilled to score a touchdown in his return back to the lineup. And speaking about that, and Vinny can appreciate this, there were a lot of players in that locker room who were like reminiscing about the fact that they haven't won in Dallas before, right? Jalen Hurts brought it up unprompted, as you predicted, Bo.
Yes.
When he was asked something like, "Did it feel good to win this one for Kellen?" And he's like, because of Kellen's history. And he's like, "Well, a lot of us have history here." And he's like, "It feels good to win back home in Texas. I'm 4 hours away, but it feels good." So I think, there was, I don't want to kind of share a conversation that was off camera, if you will, but like there were people asking specific things about the last time they won, like what was going on at that time. And it's nowhere, it's worth noting that the last time they won was the year they won the Super Bowl, right? And so this is a 7-2 team right now. This is a team that's won 5 in a row. This is the 5th time in the Nick Sirianni era that they've gone on a 5-game winning streak. Think about that, right? It's pretty impressive when you think about it in those terms. And there's some guys who are aware they're in first place in the NFC East. Now that's by winning percentage, right? Not necessarily by wins, but they know the importance of this game on Thursday night. So that's what struck me. And really it was like the matter of fact nature of it. Brandon Graham was saying how this is a real tight group right now. This is a group not tight in terms of like the pressure that they felt last year, tight in terms of like how close they are. Yeah, he talked about how a bunch of guys went out to dinner last night, and he just feels good about this team, And Jalen said, he knows this starts with him in terms of the attitude, the temperament of the team. So I don't want to use the term vibes, right? Because there's no way to measure that, if you will. But I think this is a team that I would say is at a better place, like mentally, than they were last year when they were rolling. Last year they were rolling, and you've heard the expression that there were wins that felt like losses, or that everyone was tight in the building. I don't sense that this year. I sense a team that is like winning by double digits, and it's ho hum. It's as you framed it, Bo, anticlimactic.
Yeah, well, there's lots of evidence that being able to blow out bad teams is as good of an indicator about the quality of your team as anything else. We have a super chat for you, Zach, from Shay. And I think I know your answer here, but he says, "Do you mind wearing a GoPro so we can see you work the locker room for diehards? Just want to get everything I can out of my subscription."
That's a fair point.
I don't think
I gotta say,
well, but
Shay, yeah, I don't think that would go over well. I mean, I could tell you I would probably lose my credential. I would lose like any professional respect that I've tried to build in that locker room. And there's just as an anecdote to explain why I can't wear a GoPro. One of the players came up to me and said, "Are you going to talk to?" So he was talking to a different player. I said, "Yeah, I'm waiting for him to get changed to talk to him." He said, "Oh, all right, that makes sense." So I can't wear a GoPro for that. I can't wear a GoPro because there are conversations that you have when the camera's off, or the microphone's off, where you try to get some kind of context or explanations on things. There are conversations you have with people behind the scenes that I wouldn't want that on the GoPro. But Shay, I will try to give you as much kind of beyond
Jack,
my
if you
writing.
owned a pizza shop and one of the customers came in and said they wanted you to wear a GoPro, wouldn't you do it?
Well, no. For this reason, if I owned a pizza shop and someone said, you would make more money if you didn't declare taxes, I wouldn't do that either because it's illegal, right? So you want to listen to the customers, but within the confines of like what is reasonable and proper. Yeah. So no, I can't wear a GoPro in the locker room.
So Zach, the Eagles have moved on. Let's move on to you. Your buddy Shield just tweeted out that the Eagles Shield. Never heard.
Doesn't ring a bell. Yeah.
You should follow him on Twitter. He's interesting.
Okay.
The Eagles defense is now allowing 16.2 points per game, the second best in the NFL, only behind the Chargers, 5th in NFL in EPA per play, and 6th in defensive success rate. How do you feel about Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, I mean, Jaden Daniels is an awesome quarterback from what we've seen. I think Cliff Kingsbury's done a really good job with that scheme too, right? I didn't think they had a lot of talent going into the year, but they're playing good teams week out, or I should say week in, week out, and playing well against them. I'm surprised by the way that the Eagles defense is playing because they don't have an elite pass rush. And usually the years when they're really good, they're like dominant as a pass rush. And you don't necessarily see that. This is a team that I would say probably the strength is more the back end than the defensive front, which is atypical for the Eagles teams that I've covered. I'm used to seeing Vinny Curry dominate up there, right? But I think Washington's going to present just a much different look in terms of obviously Jaden Daniels, the efficiency with which he plays. There's not a lot of incompletions when Jaden Daniels throws. He's accurate. He's got a big arm. He obviously can move well. But I look at the skill guys there, and I'm just not that impressed, right? There are guys in the locker room talking about the excitement of playing against Zach Ertz again. But they're relying a lot on Ertz. They're relying on Terry McLaurin. This is, you look at the Eagles offense, you look at the Commanders offense. I'll take the Eagles offense every day.
Which quarterback are you taking?
I'll take Jalen Hurts. Someone asked me, I was on a show and they asked me like if I think Jalen Hurts still has it. And I'm like, Jalen Hurts went toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes if he went toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, right? He's quarterbacking a 7-2 team. His passer rating right now, and I know passer rating is like not a tell-all stat, but his passer rating is better than it was in 2022. So I think sometimes there's like a lack of appreciation for, like we nitpick everything that he does wrong, and rightfully so. You're the franchise quarterback, that comes with it. But he also makes a lot of winning plays. And I thought the 2 touchdown passes today were an example.
Okay.
You seem to disagree, Bo?
Yeah, passer rating is not moving the needle for me. We have Fran here who has been watching the film and talking about it all season long and talking about the throws that he is turning down and the mistakes that he's making. I think he's been good. I don't think. Well, go ahead.
I had 5 incompletions tonight, right?
And he took 4
sacks
that were all on him, probably.
Yeah, So I talked to Lane about that actually, and Lane was something. I'm glad you brought that up. I should have mentioned it.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So Lane was saying the Cowboys were doing a good job with in particular of rushing 3 up front and then bringing a linebacker that was kind of either unaccounted for or kind of playing games with that, and that's something he has to kind of watch the film on. I agree. Early on, Jalen didn't play. I thought Jalen missed. I thought the turnovers weren't good. I thought Jalen was a little late early on. But again, like it's you don't luck into 7-2 in this league. You don't luck into 3 consecutive. I wouldn't say they lucked into 7-2. But this is like 3 consecutive years where Jalen as the starting quarterback is sitting at the midpoint of the season with one of the best records in the NFL. So there are a lot of really talented quarterbacks right now who are on 3 and 5 teams, right, or 3 and 6 teams. I mean, Jalen's on a 7-2 team. I just think, look, I'm not. You can say I'm in the bag for him if you want, but like it's hard to win. You look around the league, there are a lot of teams who find ways to lose, right? And Jalen Hurts and this Eagles team finds ways to win. And I think there's something to be said. There's something to be said about that. Like, if I would, I would much rather be a quarterback who gets picked apart and winning than a quarterback who gets praised and losing, because what you're trying to do is win games.
I think that sounds like a nice discussion for us to have on tomorrow's show on the PHLY Eagles podcast. But yeah, we're not judging Jalen Hurts against the rest of the league. We're judging him against his own standard.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's like anything. I don't think things are black and white. I think most things reside in the gray area, and I think there's things to pick apart with Jalen. There's things to credit Jalen with, and I think that I guess I had a different interpretation of today's performance than you did. I'm excited to have that conversation tomorrow.
Yeah, sorry to bring it up. I was doing it more complimentary towards Jaden Daniels. I feel like mom and dad are fighting now.
No, and not be honest,
you shouldn't have been. You shouldn't have been standing outside the bedroom as Zach and I were looking at our phones. Yeah.
Ooh, should we do it again?
Yeah.
Zach, the chat has been dying to know over under 2.5 showers for ZB today.
Ooh.
Over or under 2.5 showers today. So under so far.
Under so far,
but I will shower before I go to bed tonight.
Yeah, but are you on 2 or on 1 at the moment?
I'm on 1.5.
What does that mean?
What? Did you take a bath?
No. So the half is
what happened?
No, so the half is this. I made an appearance on CBS. No, I made an appearance on CBS 3 this morning. Okay,
Flex.
and
congrats on all your success.
And
you only watched the bottom of your body.
No, so the time difference was such that it snuck up on me. Right, I went for a walk this morning. I was making some calls on the walk, and I look at my phone, and I had to be on at 11 Eastern, but it's 10 there. I'm like, oh crap! Like it's I'm on in 30 minutes, so I hustle back. And I'm not in. I didn't want to get dressed for the day there. I needed to shave. I think there's a lot more I need to do. So I just jumped in. So I didn't look because I had a hat on when I took a walk. So I jumped in for like 30 seconds just to kind of wet my hair. And then so I didn't have hat hair. Then I put something on put like a jacket on from waist up. Right. And then
Winnie the Pooh, the interview with CBS 3?
No, I was in joggers. I was in joggers.
Okay.
I'm saying like what I took my walk.
That was a really funny image in my head.
Yeah. No, but then
risking a tubing on CBS.
But we'll never do that.
Pat Gallen know what was going on?
Would never do that. So then
vibes.
I jumped in and I just just so I look presentable, but I was unshaven. So then I went back and
did
took
you
like an
shampoo
actual
in that 30
shower.
seconds?
No. That's what I'm saying. So it wasn't like a full shower. I didn't even.
I'm actually going to
apply
give
like soap
you I mean, first of all, Fran, thank God you asked this question because this is very this is fascinating. I actually think this would count towards the over because if you throw a terrible pass, it's still a pass attempt. It was a very low quality shower, but
I think it's a shower. I think it's an official shower. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the thing. So I'll shower when I get back, and then I have to leave for the airport tomorrow at 5.
You got to do the early shower.
I'm getting up at like 4. I'm getting up at 4:40, so I'll take a shower at like 4:45 tomorrow. So there will be, if you count that one, there'll be 4 showers in a 24-hour period. Yeah, that's probably a lot. But
so while we're on the subject of bathroom talk here, have you guys brought your age-old debate to Vinny yet?
I don't know that we've broached it with Vinny.
Vinny's gonna be on my side on this one.
It feels like
Vinny,
a good time
are
to
there
broach
any
it.
situations in which you would sit to pee?
No.
Thank you, Vinny. I got to tell you, Vinny.
Look of absolute horror.
Disdain.
Yeah. So Bo like ridicules me about this because I wouldn't sit to pee either. Every time we have like an actual NFL player on, I'm on the same side
like
as
you,
him, right? So yeah, so I'm saying I actually think that I'm on the right side of history here.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's way too much to go up and down.
This is not a normal occurrence. This is in the middle of the night. You're sleepwalking. Sometimes, yeah.
Your thoughts, Vinny?
I'm not sitting down.
Yeah. Thank you, Vinny. Me neither. Yeah, Vinny and I are on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, it's too much work.
All right.
Hey, Zach, did you get to talk to like Bryce Huff or Brandon Graham?
Yeah, I spoke to Brandon Graham.
Plays.
Yeah,
Poor Vinny's
I did
just
not
trying to
speak to
steer
Bryce
this
Huff.
race as quickly as possible.
I did not speak to Bryce Huff. I wanted to. I was with someone else at the time. Brandon was talking about just a number of clutch plays. Like, for instance, Brandon mentioned the tackle on the open field that Cooper DeJean had as a huge play in the game. So Brandon recognized that, there were a number of like standout plays that the defense made. And you're right about Bryce Huff. Like, I was on him or on like the snap count early. I was monitoring it closely to see how many snaps he was playing, and he only took 6 snaps in the first half. But he had a money strip sack there that the Eagles needed.
And he was able to do it with only one hand.
I'm curious to learn more about that wrist injury, but clearly, it's affecting him enough that they only want to play him on certain third downs, but apparently not on first and second. Right.
All right, Zach. Well, we will look forward to reading your story on allphly.com. We only got a quick turnaround, so we will let you go. We'll see you on the show tomorrow at 2:00 with Fran, Duffy, and me. Thanks for spending some time.
Absolutely. Enjoyed this and can't wait for Thursday night when Vinny Curry gets the recognition he deserves.
Amen.
Appreciate you, Zach.
Amen to that.
Absolutely.
See you, Zach.
Have a good shower.
All right, a couple of minor things just to...
It's definitely a shower. There's no half
It counts.
shower.
And it's
it
a
counts.
bad shower.
You're
but
in the shower.
I think the only thing that would count as a half shower would be like if you were like washing your feet.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Or
like,
like
sit
you're
on the
washing your
edge
hair in
and-
the sink
yeah.
in the shit in the sink or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. This has been the best post-game show we've had so far. It is finally time for us to go off the rails. It's been a long time coming. Some super chats. Let's see. Benjamin says, I also got to say, as a lifelong Marshall fan, so much Marshall love. Alumni and Eagles fan, it has been an honor to see you represent our school. Thank you, Vinny.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Khalif, in the Sicko Discord, we have a swooper where both Shay and Jason bid the same amount on the Eagles win. We need y'all to vote on who gets it. I'm going to, Vinny, just pick one. Shay or Jason?
Shay.
Shay.
you
Shay
go,
gets
Shay.
it. And Jason gets his revenge, I believe, because in response to that, he says, just a reminder, Shay still hasn't asked out the woman who he touched the bean with. Ignoring all the obvious signs.
When I first read that in our Discord channel here, Bo, I much like Frank also thought in dirty thoughts.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about touching the bean, you're like
Your mind only goes one place.
I mean, you've probably
you've never
already
been to-
gone over the
If
line.
you haven't been to
Yeah.
Chicago, there's only so many explanations there.
Interesting to see that at the end of the game, the offensive line, when the Eagles went in, you had Fred Johnson at left tackle, Tyler Steen left guard, Nick Gates at center, Becton stays in, and Jack Driscoll at right tackle. I don't know. Juergens is the one who gets the night off instead of Becton, but I guess they're both dealing with stuff.
Yeah. How else would you have expected that to go? What was
I think there was a time earlier this season where Juergens had to stay on the field.
Got it.
But
So Nick Gates at guard instead.
yeah, what did you think of Fred Johnson's game today?
He had the one penalty early.
Couple bean touches.
Yep.
Impressive.
Yeah, I'll go see through the film
I
tomorrow.
believe Jordan Mailata is now eligible to return.
That's one thing we should have asked Zach. Although I would assume that if
Short week, you probably wait one
Give
more
him
week.
my
give him
guess
one
is
more week,
one more week would make more sense for
Yeah,
Jordan.
that'll make.
I have a quote here from your friend Olivia Reiner that I want to run by Vinny in regards to Zack Baun. Ask Zack Baun why Philly was the right fit for him beyond the opportunity to start. He said, I compare it to the time I transferred high schools. I was kind of uncomfortable in my old high school, kind of stood out. And when I transferred, I felt like I could be myself and be me. And that's exactly how I feel with this team. They've embraced me so much.
I
The
love
coaches, the players, the cafeteria staff, everyone accepted me like a big family. The people in the building really made it easy for me to transition here.
That's really cool.
It'd make me cry.
But the saying is in that building, let your personality show. What you see is who you get.
And that's all from Big Red?
That was an Andy thing, right?
Yeah, let your personality show. But it trickles down. You know,
Does that like make your Eagle's heart shine when you hear a
Hey,
quote
I
like
ain't
that?
gonna lie, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Shout out to the cafeteria staff, by the way.
And I say they got one of the best cafeterias.
Oh, yeah, I've eaten there once or twice. They throw down there.
What a nice thing for Zack Baun to say.
Very cool.
Switching high schools, too.
Pay the man.
Yeah, give him an extension.
Yeah, I think at 7-2 we can feel pretty confident that Vic Fangio is going to be back. So yeah, let's give Zack Baun the bag that
Baun
he has earned.
and Dean seem to be getting better by the week.
Yeah, and Baun the ferocity that he hits with. I mean, he really, really hits.
He's fast. Like he's hauling ass out there.
Fantastic. All right. Well, the Eagles destroy the Cowboys to such a degree that we spend more time talking about Bean than we do specific plays in this game. But we will get into a little bit more of the nitty-gritty on tomorrow's show at 2 o'clock with Fran and Zach. For now, we get ready to bottle this thing up. And, of course, we are all looking forward and counting down the days until Vinny Curry night on Thursday at the Link. What better night than a matchup between the two best teams in the division? A lot of juice, even juicier, with Vinny in the building. And, of course, then he's going to join us for the postgame show afterwards. So we will have plenty to talk about and plenty to bring you through the week on allphly.com and on all of our shows. 2 o'clock all week long. We look forward to talking to you. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening tonight. Thank you to Julia for making it happen. Thank you to Fran, Jamie,
Dallas
and
sucks.
Vinny. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And as always, we love you. Thank you, Zach, too.
We all silly like the mayor.